Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. We have people from different time zones today. We have people from the US, from Canada, we have people from Europe, we have some people from India as well joining us for this webinar. So this is the third webinar that we have organized as part of the Hotelogix webinar series. And this time we are co-hosting with it with Guest Centric. And we are talking about a very important topic of increasing hotels' yield through the power of direct bookings instead of just increasing the occupancy, which is just the first part of the process for increasing your revenue. We're going to talk about something more about more the net return that you can generate, the more yield that you generate from your booking sources. Moving on. Yes. So I would like to introduce our guest speakers for the day. We have Mr. Philip Mushaz. He is the VP Business Development of North America and co-founder of Guest Centric Systems. Joining him is Mr. Shiva Prasad Gangadharan. He's a senior vice president at Hotelogix for enterprise sales, and he has over 2 decades of experience in the hospitality industry. So he comes from a typical revenue management background as well. So for today's webinar, we're going to cover broadly these 6 areas. We're going to start with the current hotel booking landscape. We're going to talk about how important it is for a hotel to find a balance between OTAs and the direct bookings. Moving on, we'll talk about some best practices hotels are following these days. Then we're going to use the power of see how OTAs and this can be juggled in between. Moving on, we're going to talk about the challenges hotels face in successfully managing a direct strategy. And finally, we would be covering a small section on how the PMS, as in your property management system, allows you or gives you the tools to actually manage and streamline your different booking sources and bookings from different booking channels. Okay, so moving on, over to you, Philip. I think over to you, Mr. Shiva Prasad. We can talk about the current landscape and you can take it from here.
Good evening, everybody. I'm in Dubai, so it's evening here. I have a slide now which gives some interesting aspects of the online world. As everybody knows, the booking from online channels are increasing. And there are certain countries, like for example in Dubai, the OTA bookings are almost 70 to 80% of the hotel bookings in a lot of properties. This keeps varying from country to country. There are countries which it is low, and there are countries where it is pretty high, especially in the city side. And we have seen that this online, the OTA bookings can vary based on the type of hotel it is or the type of business they are into and all. These 2 slides, actually, the first one highlights that people come to hotel websites also, they go to meta search also, they go to OTAs also before they make a booking. So it's not that they go to one source and make a booking from the source itself. They might go they might first go to a OTA maybe and then go to the hotel website and look at it. Though you see that the hotel website has the least number of visitors compared to a meta or a OTA. From the meta, they might click on the link and then go directly make a booking on the OTA. So this is a varying experience whereby people go to multiple sites, and the hotel might even not know where the booking is actually coming from, where the search started, right? The search must have started on a meta, and then it might have led to the OTA, and then the guy might have come to the hotel website. Now, the majority, a report by STR says that majority of the hotel bookings happen, most of the online hotel bookings happen by the OTA. Can you go to the next slide?
Karnak? Yeah.
So as we saw, OTAs still dominate the online world, right? Even large hotel companies have been trying to push people to come to their websites directly and providing various incentives to make bookings on their website. But still, the OTAs have been doing it. We look at some slides on where why is the reason people book on OTAs and what happens and stuff like that. This is another slide which highlights a new trend where a lot of bookings is happening from a phone. This is showing that the mobile device, whether it be a tablet or a smartphone, bookings are increasing on that, and it is increasing very aggressively. Uh, the tablet is not so used, but the smartphone is increasing very aggressively. Some conditions on that is that the booking happening on the mobile is for a short stay, generally one night or maximum two. But if it's a longer stay, then generally they go to the website and make a booking. Maybe they take longer time on decision. The other part is that the booking happening is if it's a much shorter duration, right? For example, a person wants to book the same day or one day in advance, then it happens through a mobile device. While if it's if it's a long-term journey and you're doing it after a couple of months, then the booking happens much in advance, and then they use a website for doing that from a laptop or a computer, whichever is that. Can you go to the next slide, Kanak? Again, continuing with mobile bookings, this is again increasing, and it is prominent in hotels compared to airlines or other packages and other things. The maximum number of bookings happening on a mobile is for hotels. And it is changing, right? The travelers are booking more expensive packages on mobile. Earlier it was, they were only willing to make smaller payments. People were having issues with credit card or making payment through credit card. All this is changing, and the online booking on mobiles is increasing. So the hotels need to understand that it is not just booking on a booking through a website, but it is on a mobile also, and I need to understand the dynamics behind this while deciding all the pricing and the website requirements and other things, which Philippe will take through for us. Konak? See, OTAs are there to stay. OTAs are going to be there for a long time, and there is no reason for hotels to worry about OTAs, or see how all of the bookings can move to a booking engine. The main concern hotels have with booking coming through OTA is the commission fees. But OTAs also drive larger business, and OTAs promote areas and regions better. And even so, instead of just promoting a particular hotel, they might promote the whole region. But the main concern with the hotels is the commission, and direct booking. If they can drive some of the business directly to their website, it will reduce the commission a lot. Hotels end up parting with 15 to 30, and in some cases, even a larger share of business from the OTA to the to the website. Website commissions are much lower. It might be anything between 5 to 10%. Some of the reasons hotels OTAs people book on OTAs is that they offer better price deals. They offer better rates than what the hotels are able to offer directly. There are OTAs which are offering commissions to the discounts to the effect of 40-50%, and also to the consumer to attract them to their website. They have a lot of reach. They provide a lot of loyalty programs, and they offer and you can also see a lot of reviews. I can look at what the previous customers said, even pictures which are not put up by the hotel, directly put up by the customer. So I can have a better idea of what the hotel is, and maybe a better understanding of what am I getting into when I book through a OTA. Big brands like Hyatt have launched exclusive campaigns featuring exclusively on their direct booking sites. Even then, their business is not so great on the website as compared to what the OTA gives them overall. Kanak, can you? Now, this is an interesting fact, something called a billboard effect. People come to the OTA, then from the OTA look at the hotels, and then go directly to the hotel website to make a booking. So you have to be registered on a OTA so that you can attract these customers. Otherwise, they might not know the hotel is existent itself, and they might not come to you to your website directly. So it is not about making sure that it is about finding a balance between your OTAs and your direct business. It might be that it is a 50-50%, or it might be that the website makes a much lower business, but maybe 15%, and the OTA drives a larger share of business. So depending upon the city, the type of hotel, you will have to have a balance between both the OTA and the direct business to make a mix, make a perfect mix. Kunal, next slide. Some of the best practices needed to be done by hotels to drive more direct bookings is to provide a seamless experience with the OTA website. OTAs have understood much better the consumers, how to attract them, how to get them to do a booking, offer them value add packages, so that they don't move out of the OTA or go to some other site or go to the hotel website and make a booking. So they have learned that, and they provide a much more better experience to the customer overall in getting the booking done on their website. There are certain, like I mentioned earlier, there are certain areas where the booking is controlled. In Dubai, maybe 80% of the booking is controlled by Booking.com. One single website controls a lot of the booking. So there are certain regions where that is huge, and they provide such a great experience to the consumer that they prefer booking on that particular website. Hotels needs to learn a little more from the OTAs on how this experience can be, how the experience can be leveraged, and how they can provide a better booking experience to the consumer overall. Invest a little more in self-marketing and branding activities by promoting their own websites, doing some better SEO, SEM, making sure that your hotel is there on top. Some of these activities will help drive that direct bookings to your website. They also need to provide a little more social media interaction, right? You are on OTA, you can comment, you can put photos, you can do a lot of activities. It's linked to Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or any of those sites. With the hotel website, website is certain time static, at least, especially the large hoteliers have always been able to do some of these activities because they have more money to spend, but the smaller hotels are unable to do this, and you need to be able to provide certain functionalities, and all of them is unlike earlier, all of them is available now at a much lower cost, where hotels can subscribe to somebody who provides these facilities, and they do it in bulk, so they can maybe afford to do it better and at a lower cost. You can have real-time TripAdvisor reviews on your own website, so that the customer knows that these are feedback put by direct customers and not the hotel putting something. Follow the hotel's Twitter feed to get an idea of the hotel's atmosphere. Maybe have more pictures. Maybe allow guests to post their experience on this, and link to Facebook. All these activities can be done to provide a better experience for the customer when they come to the website. Pana, can you go to the next? So they need a healthy booking between the OTA and direct sources. The price, there has to be some sort of price parity between all of this. Hotels can offer maybe some other sort of incentive to make sure that the customer stays on the website, customer makes booking on the website, have some loyalty program, or some of the other activities which can be offered along with the room, to ensure additional feature functionalities which can be offered along with the room to make sure that the customer does the booking on the website. I had discussed the refining the booking process and making it as seamless as the OTAs for the customers, and make sure that the offers are the same. Like you can go to the. So Philippe will take you through the next part of the webinar, and then we can catch up again once it's ending.
Thank you so much. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I would like obviously to thank Katarina and Kornak for setting up this webinar. So this is great, and I think we are, Shiva Prasad is already kind of like giving great insights. And I'm here just to show some simple tips and tricks that I've been learning through the years, so you can get more control of your website revenue. So can you move forward the slide, please? So so we all know that managing an effective direct booking strategy is becoming more and more challenging. Okay, so the OTAs are getting more aggressive. The guest is getting more demanding. So the OTAs are investing a lot. Obviously, with so much money, they invest a lot on learning the consumer behavior, learning booking patterns. So there's so many things behind the booking, and they're trying to learn until the minimum. Do you understand? They try to understand every single aspect of the process. So obviously it gets really complex for especially for an independent hotel to fight this tendency. Okay, so again, as Siva Prasad was telling, it's important to kind of use the internet and try to level the playing field. Obviously, we need to live with the OTAs. OTAs are here to stay, so we kind of we need to create an healthy relationship. Okay, but if you look at the landscape, right? So an hotelier, you need to deal with the logo design, website copy, search engine optimization, revenue management, reputation. So it gets extremely complex to manage all these skills. Okay, so let's look at some of the tips and tricks that may help you fool some direct strategy. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so the first one is price parity, and I think this is an important point. I was actually reading a Focusrite paper from 2016 that they were telling that 30% of the people still use the OTAs because they offer better price. And every week I work with hotels and I check prices, and I can find always a better price at the OTA. And I think this is wrong, right? Hotels, they need to stop giving better prices to the OTAs. Otherwise, their strategy, all their marketing dollars will go away because people will go where they have a better price. And I think this is key. So now I'm going to pick a little bit on Booking.com and look around the Genius rate. Okay, so they came up with this new concept, or it's not new because it's been there for a while, called Genius. And sometimes hotels subscribe, they don't even know exactly what they are subscribing, but they are giving a huge advantage to Booking.com, and on average this reservation costs 29%. Okay, and so this is a huge price to pay for a reservation, especially when they dynamically select your best rooms, and they don't allow you to close the dates, your high demand periods. Okay, so this is my first question. Why don't you? And this is my first tip. You should create something similar to the Genius rate at the booking at your website level, so you make sure you have rate parity. And this is an example that I have. It's a small hotel in a city in Europe, and they've created this little club offer there, and they are driving 8% of direct traffic, but at least they make sure they don't offer a better rate at the OTA, and I see that all the time. If we move to the next slide, can you move to the next slide, Kornak? So this slide, it's extremely important because it shows real data. Okay, and this represents 3 months of bookings through Booking.com in a major US city. Okay, so in fact Booking.com brings a lot of room nights in terms of reservations, but so the first thing that it's kind of an highlight, it's the number of cancellations. So they also generate a lot of cancellations, 31%. And that's something that we need to work. But I think that topic by its own, it could be a webinar or a kind of like an open discussion. So I'm not going to focus that. I'm going to focus on the rate parity problem. From this analysis, I can see that 44% of the rooms sold on Booking.com were below parity, means that they were cheaper than the hotel website. Okay. So I assume the customers were Genius. So I assume that 44% the room nights booked on Booking.com or from Genius customers. So this shows kind of like the magnitude of the problem, and this is huge. So if you think about, I don't know, let's say 50% of the consumers, of the clients of Booking.com are Genius, see, like at the global level, we are talking about millions of people who have access to a better price at Booking.com than your website. So I think that's kind of like a problem. Okay, so again, I believe that this is a pillar. This is a pillar for or a core for your direct booking strategy. And if you don't have a rate parity, it's very difficult to implement a successful and effective strategy. So that's why I presented this the first. So let's move to the next one. Okay. So most technology players separate the booking engine from the website. Okay, but according to our studies and based on obviously my opinion, I believe that the booking process starts at the website level. Okay, so we should bring as much as possible e-commerce elements to the website so we can accelerate the e-commerce process. Obviously, we want them to move into the funnel. We want to move as fast as possible clients into the funnel. So we created this intelligent messages alerts, okay, at the website level, that you can actually, based on real data, you see, I don't know, 18 reservations done on the last 24 hours. So we are actually showing real information, real e-commerce information to the guest, okay? So we are creating confidence and urgency so the guest can move to the next process, okay? And I believe this is important. If you look at the next slide, okay, we can see that this is again real data of an hotel. We can see this shopping activation, how we call it, shopping activation widget, generated 128 room nights on this real hotel. And I think this obviously it's you need to combine all these features just to show that this is helping. But this is again pushing the message, pushing the guest to the booking engine, and pushing the funnel, and creating again the synergies for a direct booking. Okay. So can we move to the next slide, Kornak? I believe this is also a very cool and a nice feature because again we are bringing e-commerce elements to the website. We can place this at a rooms page or at a promotions page, and in real time we are giving price and availability. Okay, so we are kind of like moving people into the shopping process without their even clicking on the book now button. You understand? And I think that's the key. So we kind of need to push people into the funnel. And this is, I think this works well. And this also works with and triggers a little bit the impulse shopping experience. So people have tendency to look and see, hey, let's because when it's dynamic, people touch and people like to see different information. And I think this works well. And hopefully in the next few months I'll have some data to share with you about the real effect on this on the customer behavior. Okay, can you move slide? This one, it's I think it's a very important feature, and a lot of people like this feature because you can actually respond to a specific request event at social media or other platforms. Okay, so you can actually select a specific offer with a pre-selected date and point to a specific group of people. So we are actually personalizing the offer. and creating a direct response. Okay, I believe personalization, it's the catchword of the day, right? So we are kind of personalizing everything and pushing that specific offer to a group of people. Last week, I was actually talking with an hotel in Virginia that they were actually pushing a specific deal at a social media channel of a wedding. And they actually found that using this technique, they managed to reduce the dependency on Expedia on 25%. So again, this is it's all about synergies, right? So you need to use these features, a combination of these features, just to try to reduce the dependency on the OTAs. Okay, can you move forward? I think this is one of my favorite features because it's dynamic and it works really well, and we call it shopping recovery technique. So if you look at the booking patterns, we see, I don't know, like a good hotel, maybe they have 5% of conversion rates. Okay, so but 95% of people that book or look at the booking engine, they leave. So what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to grab people and say, hey, stay at our booking funnel, don't go away. So we've created some intelligence behind this mechanism. So before you leave, or when you are trying to leave your booking engine, we can always say, hey, don't leave, we have a special offer for you. And this is exactly what we are trying to do. So you just place your email and you'll get a notification email or an email telling, okay, we have a special offer for you. Do you understand? And if you look at the next screen, Kornak, can you move slide, please? We can see that, and I like the word saved, because in this is a real hotel, so they saved 167 room nights because they use this functionality. Okay, so most probably they would lose or they would go to an OTA, and we managed to get that bookings through email. So we send them a book now button on email to a specific offer that has a special code that's only available for them. Okay, so we call this website shopping recovery. And obviously, so we launched this maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. We are now looking at data and trying to give more features to become even more sophisticated. Okay, can you move to the next slide? I think so. This is my last slide. And this is kind of like giving a word of hope. So I talk with hotels every day, and sometimes they don't have the strength to go and pursue with a direct booking strategy. And sometimes when I see that, I always show hotels who do extremely well. You understand? So we have hotels who do 50, 60% of direct bookings when they are focused on their strategy. And I think this is key, right? So that's why I like to show success, just to show that's possible. Because a lot of independent hotels, they say, hey, I'm not going to invest in my website or a booking engine because it's not yielding results. And I think this is not true. That's why I like to show that a lot of our customers, they have like between 30 to 50% of direct bookings. We even have customers with more direct bookings, and I think this is important to tell. Obviously, an hotelier, they're exposed to everything. Sometimes I laugh with the clients because they have to do SEO, and the next moment they have to fix a pipe that it's not. So there's a lot of things going on in an hotel, but that's why we create this. We created guest centric with kind of like the basics, the core that you need to pursue a direct booking strategy. Okay, so it's kind of like an all-in-one solution that will offer the basics. So if you see results, then you can then you can invest in other things like reputation. I don't know. There's so many things that you need to do around your direct booking strategy. But these are like this will give you kind of like the basics. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, just place them on the Q&A, and I'm happy to help you.
All right. Thank you, Philip, for that wonderful session. So you can please type in your questions from Q&A. I can see already a couple of questions coming in. To keep this more streamlined, we'll take the questions at the end of the webinar. We still have the last part of the webinar. I would like to invite Mr. Shiva to join in again and take this part and tell us about how the PMS can actually help a hotel in streamlining the booking strategy. Over to you, sir.
Kornak?
Yes. Sir, can you hear us?
Sorry, yeah, I can hear you. I was on mute. Sorry about that. Earlier, when the technology stack was made for a travel agent online world, PMS was never in picture. It was the channel manager, OTA, and all of this, which was part of the technology stack. One reason was that the PMS was never connected to any of these devices. Now the world has changed. The data, which includes both the availability, the rates, and all of this is in the PMS, and so it makes it and it gets connected to various devices, unlike before, and so that it is a part of the technology stack. And when anybody draws a technology stack, now PMS is the heart of the whole thing, right? Because the real-time data availability rise in the system. Now you can have the guest history. You can do targeted communications. You can have the last minute availability on any OTA. For example, if a cancellation happens of a group, that room is available immediately in the OTA if the PMS is seamlessly connected. If a cancellation happens in the OTA, the availability is there across all other OTAs, and it happens in a seamless way. This drives an incremental revenue for the hotels, and the PMS helps in this regard. More importantly, Felipe also mentioned about pricing and certain role it plays in decision making. Pricing plays a pretty large role in any decision of hotels, and a percentage increase in price can drive almost 10% increase in revenues for the profitability for the hotel. So the pricing decision comes from looking at competition rates, understanding demand, and also understanding the segment of customers you have. So all this data lies in the PMS. A lot of it comes from the PMS, and when it is integrated with third-party products like channel managers, rate shoppers, and all, you get a better understanding of the whole decision you have to make and what price you have to sell the hotel at. So this is supported by a PMS. So either there's a revenue management system, or the PMS itself will give you the data, and you can take a better informed decision on what the hotel has to be priced at, so that you can do better than your competition, right? If you are priced at $100 and the competition is priced at $50, with the same quality of service and the same rating in TripAdvisor, or where whatever social media people look at, then the chances are higher that the business will go into that. So the price has to be matched to whatever is the reality of this thing, and for taking that decision, data is required, and the pricing happens on a daily basis, where you need to drive that booking. Can you go to the next? Konak, can you move to the next slide? So this is the last slide. These are some of the things which the property management system or hotel management system can help the hotels with. Making sure the service is personalized. You have his previous complaints. You know what he had an issue with last time, what he liked last time. All this can be entered into the property management system. You can integrate with the channel manager to make sure that the distribution is seamless. You can integrate with the online booking engine, where you can make sure that you control the OTA rates or the booking engine rates, and make sure that both of is at par, or you want to give some better deal to your own booking engine. All this can be controlled and managed in the property management system. You can even offer deals. So for special guests, so you have got certain VIP guests and you have marked them as VIP, so you can offer them some special deals whereby when they go to the website, they can put in the coupon code and unlock the deal. As integrated to revenue management systems to ensure that it is the right price which the room is sold at. I think that is from our end. So we'll take any questions you have. Konak, you can.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Philip, for the lovely session. We already have a couple of questions that are typed in the Q&A box. I think Katrina would be taking these up by text. I'll quickly announce a couple of them which have been asked already. So I'll take them in order. So we have David here who's asked, will you be distributing the recorded webinar? So yes, David, we would be distributing this webinar, a recording, I think, in the next 2 days, and a link would be sent to all the attendees and the people who have not been able to attend today. We have one from Michael. He's asking, when do I put in a special offer? No way to know when a guest is about to leave our website.
Konark, actually, regarding our feature that Philippe was talking about, the shopping recovery, right, Philippe? Do you remember?
Yes. So yeah. Do you want me to go? So we actually work with technology. So we look at specific browser events that happen that will show that people are leaving. We also have features like, okay, if the client is inactive for a couple of minutes, you can set up the timer. You can also prompt the customer and say, hey, don't go away, we have a special offer for you. So we are using different techniques and monitoring all them to see what it really works. Do you understand? And we are adding more and more functionality into this shopping recovery technique. And this is something that, so if you look at big companies like Amazon or Zappos, so they have been doing this for quite a long time. So we are obviously looking at other verticals, other industries to see what are the best practices and bringing into the hotel vertical. And I think this is kind of unique because there's no many suppliers, technology suppliers out there who are really focused on e-commerce for hotels. Okay, and this is what we are trying to bring.
Thank you, Philip. I hope Michael, that answers your question. You just type us in if you have any other further questions on this. We will be happy to reply you by text as well. We have another question by Mr. Rahul. He writes, hi, I'm Rahul Mathur from India. The OTAs have become a cartel here due to the cashbacks and heavy discounts from their side. How do we counter such a heavy monetary advantage that they give to the online shoppers? At the end, it's money saved for the shopper.
Can I take that question?
Yes, sir.
Rahul, but see, India is different, right? There is discounting going up to 50, 60, 70% or whatever. And I don't see that it is going to be easy to compete with that. But I don't see the discounting continuing for a long time. But the fact is that the hotel still makes the same money what they charge, right? They give it's not that they are not making money on the whole business. The discounting is given by the OTA. So I would suggest that there are hotels who have said they don't want to be part of the discounting process, and the large ones are not affected, but the smaller ones, when they do that, they get affected by it heavily, and they lose out on it by a large margin. So this is a process which will end at some stage, and I think I don't see I don't see a necessity to counter it right now. The customer, they are driving the customer to the hotels, right? getting customers to come and stay in better hotels and doing activities. But it's only happening in very few geographies, and I don't think it is a common feature. It's happening mostly in India only, I think.
Great. Thank you, sir. We have a couple of more questions. I'll quickly take them up. We have one question from Soumya. She's asked, what can a small hotelier leverage that a big brand hotel can't to generate direct bookings?
Do you want me to take it? So I believe a small hotel, I think you kind of need to tell your story, right? For a small and big brand, it's kind of difficult to build a story around a big hotel and chain. But if you have a small independent hotel, it's very easy to connect with your story, so people will resonate with your message. And this is exactly what we have seen, for instance, with the Airbnb, right? People resonate with the houses that they'll stay on Airbnb, and now you have hosts and you have so many things going on related with the story. And I think if you look at the Airbnb example, it's a good example. So if I had a small independent hotel, I would focus on trying to tell my story, so I would connect better with a group of people that I'm trying to attract. And I think that's the key difference. And obviously it's much easier to do at an independent hotel compared with a big hotel or with a big chain. I don't know if I answered the question, but it's kind of like a very high level, but I think it kind of touches an important part of messaging and branding strategy.
Absolutely, Philip. Thank you. Shiva sir, we have Rahul asking another, still the same question. He's asked an extension of the question. He's asking, what can a hotel do at his own end to counter these OTA strategies? If you have any live examples that we can share with him?
See, a mix of the earlier question and this, right? The smaller properties, it's not necessary that the smaller properties don't do better bookings. There are enough smaller hotels or standalone hotels who have great ratings on TripAdvisor, who actually are rated #1 in certain cities, right? And they do much better bookings than large hotels in that region. They even are able to charge bigger rates compared to this thing. If you take a luxury, I'm even talking about smaller hotels which are not luxury. Even if you take Imperial in Delhi, it's a 5-star deluxe property which is always full, right? So there are hotels which have been able to do that, but provide great service, take care of the guest who comes in. So I guess he will be back. Then with respect to the OTAs, it is only where they book from. If they get a better, if they like your hotel, they'll still come back to your hotel, right? They might not book it directly to your website, but they will book it on the this thing. And this problem, I think, is very specific to India, right? On that 50-60% discount. But otherwise, I don't think it's a universal problem. But in the other places, if the service is great and the product is great, and if you take care of the guest, and and if you get people to go to the social media world and talk about how good the hotel was or the experience was at the property, I think guests will always come back to the property.
I hope, Rahul, that answers your question. You can still write to us in case you have any more questions regarding this particular topic or this particular area. We'll be happy to answer those. We have one last question. It's in the chat box. So he's asking that what sort of products or services are OTAs offering to harness bookings from social media? Hey, Philip, can you take this up?
Yeah, sure. To tell the truth, I haven't seen a lot. So if you look, I've seen, I don't know, especially looking at the big ones that are obviously the most important ones, Expedia and Booking.com or Priceline Group and Expedia Group. I haven't seen any big effort on social media by their end. They're kind of like focusing on loyalty, corporate, but nothing related with social media. I don't know if there's anyone with different opinions, but I've obviously look at this every day and haven't seen a lot of effort. So I think that it's a good opportunity for smaller independent hotels or hotels in general, just to try to use and continue to leverage a little bit social media. I don't know if you have seen any. Have you seen Cornac? I don't know. I haven't seen any.
Well, they are very active on social media. They do have a lot of promotions going there, and one thing they do is that they have a good social media following. So they are building a good network, and they just not only promote. It's not only a sales promotion exercise that they do. Just to promote the content. The content is very diverse. They talk about different issues as well. They try to keep it more creative, so there's more almost an emotional element in the content attached, and they have a very good seeding strategy. So they will ensure that the right kind of people are sharing their posts on social media. So that way it makes it more important for them, because they can also leverage that seeding strategy to make the content that they're sending out more viral. So depending on the content, the actual intention of what they want to do with that content, they choose certain people from a section of their followers, or from section of their own people at the company, to leverage this and actually help it go viral or enter the social media forum. So the way it comes in is so that it becomes more, it tends to become more viral. I have some of the websites like Booking.com, Expedia. They do something like this. You'll be surprised, and Booking.com does get a lot of should be getting a lot of bookings from social media, but you know similarly Expedia is one. Make My Trip is an example from India. So if you look at their social, if I think the best way to follow is you can actually go check out their social media pages, and you'll see a lot of difference in content. So this is somewhere that you can learn from.
Okay, good point.
Right.
Brent
And
Conard, we have here another question from Madeline, right?
yes, she's actually raised her hand, and she's also typed in a question. So would you like to take it up?
Sure, I can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's very clear the difference. So shopping activation starts first, and it's you are pushing people or trying to push people into the booking funnel, okay, into the booking process. So they could be at the website level, and we try to push people into the booking funnel. Shopping recovery, it's when they actually leave the website or the booking engine. We kind of raise our hands and say, hey, don't leave, we have a special offer for you. Do you understand? So it's so that's the difference, Madeline. So we are pushing, we are trying to with the shopping activation create the urgency of people to move forward, and on the other one, shopping recovery, we are trying to avoid them leaving the shopping experience. Okay.
Thank you, Philip, for that question. I think I have a last question. No. Okay. So I think we're done with most of the questions. And I would advise everyone, if everybody has any questions left and they couldn't ask at this forum, they could definitely email it to us. My email ID is already there with the invite, and we'll be happy to reach out to you with the answers as soon as possible. We would also be sharing the recording of the webinar if you want to use for your reference, maybe for a later purpose. And we will share the link with everyone once it is uploaded and ready. I would like to thank you, all our panelists, for being a part of the webinar and making it a lovely session for all of us, and quite insightful as well. This is one topic that always has some kind of confusion. Should we go in should we prefer the OTAs or we prefer direct bookings? And that's we actually forget that it's actually the perfect balance that we have to achieve to optimize the hotel's profit. And I would like to thank all of our attendees today for being so patient and listening to us. We hope our webinar was insightful, and we would be coming up with such webinars in the future. We try to have one webinar addressing some of the issues that hotels face every 1.5 months. So we'll keep you posted on the next set of webinars, and be sure to follow us on our social media to keep track of these webinars. And that would be the end for today. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Karnak. It was great. Thanks.
Thank you.